But by all accounts, it was very well organized, and you could see by the map it turned into be a massive search, and
Yep.
there was 23 or 24 zones there, and by all accounts, if you look at the map, I mean, it's 2 miles out to the road. He's bordered by Brant Lake on the northwest, and it's a very hilly and rocky terrain to the south and to the southwest. He really shouldn't have gotten that far, but like you said, people get missed, and that's just a fact of life, but they fall into that category of the 1% that aren't found, correct?
So there's two things potentially going on. So having analyzed plenty of searches, big campaign searches where the subject wasn't found, but then they get found like a year or 2 or 3 or 4 years later, I usually found that there were typically multiple teams put in the right place, and the reasons the team missed comes down to one of 3 different explanations. Prior to the widespread use of GPS, a lot of search teams just were actually searching the wrong area. They weren't searching where they were assigned. And we didn't really know about this phenomenon until we started giving everybody GPSs.
Mm-hmm.
And in those first couple of years, it was like, oh, geez, look, I was searching in the wrong area. The second reason is when you are doing these closed grid searches, occasionally you get gaps in your line. And so, in doing interviews of searches, it's like, oh, yeah, this is where the subject was found. And I talked to the first team and there was a gap in their line right there. And, second team that went through, they came up to this big brush pile and said, well, nobody in their right mind would crawl in that brush pile. So they went around it without searching it. And, the third team was they were from out of state, so I never got to interview to figure out what their reason for missing the subject was. It could just be the traditional people sometimes miss things.
Yeah, all the time.
And a lot of times we've also had campaign searches where you literally had to crawl up on 2 logs and look straight down. And that's the only way you were going to spot the subject, because they had crawled essentially underneath the log. So it eventually actually took a non-searcher who thought they smelt something and crawled between the 2 logs to look.